Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. So what I wanted to bounce off that last video is a lot of people ask, well, so why do narcissists do this? Like, why do they play these games and do these mean things? Okay, this is important for you to understand. There's two reasons. Number one, it is a chemical dump into their system. They get high, they get this rush. And a lot of them have been interviewed and they've admitted, like, yeah, I get like a rush. Now here's the thing. This chemical rush is like a drug, not like it is a drug. It's chemicals being dumped into their bloodstream, and it gives them this rush and this high, and it's the highest high that they can ever experience. Now let me explain how high. A lot of narcissists, God, how to explain this? Okay, I'll give you one example. So a few that I have known over the years, at the time I didn't know they were narcissists, and they were like, yeah, I can't get it up. I'm like, excuse me? Like they couldn't get a hard on, okay? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're a young dude, like why not? Well, here's why. They have shifted so far over to the left brain. Now here's the deal. The further you go into the left brain, the more you disconnect from your emotional system. Well, sex is done through emotions and pleasure. It's a feeling, it's pleasure. So when you disconnect from that and you become ultra logical, can't get it up. Okay. So here's the deal. Sex is processed through the right brain. The right brain is connected to your physical body, your emotions and your feelings, including pleasure and emotional hurt. So also when someone gets hurt emotionally, they will disconnect from their right brain, and this can cause this problem. Alright, so now there is another case where I did have a client who went through a really bad divorce. He was used. She set it up from the beginning. He was a really good man with a good heart, and he got hurt really, really bad emotionally. Now here's what happens. When men get hurt emotionally, especially more than once when it's with someone they make love to, they will disconnect because they don't want to feel that hurt. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're a narcissist. So in this case, the guy had the same experience where he couldn't perform sexually because of it. All we had to do was reconnect him with his emotions, but the first thing we had to do before that was we had to heal the emotional wounds and then reassociate him. So when you go into the right brain, that's what's called being reassociated. So okay, here's what I was going to say. Not only that, but if you've been following videos on narcissist abuse, how many times have you heard other speakers on this subject say that sex to a narcissist, how do I say this, is a tool to be used to have power over people? Because people say, well, like, do narcissists even enjoy sex? Because in the beginning, they might have a lot of sex with you just to get you hooked and just to get you attached, right? It's part of the love bombing phase. So now you're like, oh my God, the sex is amazing. And all these other things, the gifts, the prizes, and all this great stuff, the love bombing stuff. And then they stop. And you get it once in a great while. Well, narcissists over time, they can't get it up, okay? And that's because they're so far in the logical left brain. Because again, if you know about narcissists, they've escaped from the right brain, the emotional feeling. You feel emotions in the right brain, in your body. And they don't want to feel hurt. They don't want to feel emotional pain. So what do they have left? They have the need to attack you, to be predators, to hunt you down, and to hurt you badly. It gives them a rush. It is similar to something I learned in psychology when a thief steals. Okay, who was that famous actress? I think it was, I want to say Naomi. Oh God, she used to be so famous. And she got caught stealing all these clothes. Well, the thing was, she was freaking a multi-millionaire. Like, why would you steal those clothes? It made no sense at all. It's because she got a rush from it. Buying clothes doesn't give you a rush. So when you and I were children, we were being socialized, okay? The first stage of life when you're born is the imprinting stage. That lasts until you're about 5 or 6 or whatever. And then there's the, oh God, I forgot the next stage. Well, eventually you get to a socializing stage, which is generally your teens and on. Okay. And as you're going through these stages, you're imprinting on your parents. Like, well, how do you talk to people? How do you treat people? God, I forget the name of the second stage. I'm so sorry. But you learn, well, these are the rules, and here's how you get along with people, and this is how you enjoy life. Well, a narcissist never does that. What they're doing at a very, very young age, we're talking 4, 5, 6 years old, they start learning how to manipulate people. They start learning how to hurt people in a very sneaky kind of way. It's like when a thief sneaks into a car and steals something and they get away and they get this rush. They are wiring this and developing this into the neurological system at a very young age. How to be sneaky, how to trick someone and hurt them either physically or emotionally, and how to get away with it from mom and daddy, and how to do it in a way that that person can't call them on it, even though that person knows. They get a rush from this. It is a fucking drug. It is the highest high that they will ever get in their life. So you've got two problems here. Number one, they don't want to give up that drug. They don't want to give up that rush. Here's the other problem. Number two, you and I, we've learned how to get along with people. Most of us have learned how to be good to people in a way that makes them feel good. Narcissists never learn those skills. They've never developed those skills. Even as a young adult, at a very young age, when I was 18, 19 years old, I started going to Tony Robbins seminars. I started going to NLP trainings. I started going to these weekend courses on how to communicate better, how to socialize better. I started reading books on relationships, how to relate people, how to listen to understand, all the stuff that I teach in my course now. So a narcissist has never done that. They never cared to. It's like, they're like, why would I do that? You and I feel good when we make other people feel good. They don't. So here's my just overall thing with this video is you have to understand they're not going to give up that drug. They are not going to give up that rush. It's like the more risky it is for them, the higher the rush, the higher the high, the more the chemicals, the more the endorphin rush. Do you understand? So number two is most average adults, they don't want to take courses after high school, seminars, 5-week-long intensive trainings that last 8 to 9 hours a day. Plus you got to study homework 3 months before you even get there. And then you got to do homework between the trainings. Most adults don't do that. Most adults might hire a life coach like me or a therapist or someone to teach them some basic love skills, some communication skills, some listening skills, some basic stuff. That's the most people will do. So a narcissist, that is the furthest thing from their mind. But here's the deal. They will absolutely convince you that they're going to go to these seminars. They'll even go, they'll go to the therapy. But what you're not understanding is they take this as a challenge of, how long can I pull the wool over this person's eyes and continue to do this? Because that gives them a rush. And that's what you don't understand because you're not a narcissist. And here's the deal. They'll even learn the stuff. No, it has no meaning to them. It has absolutely no value to them because it doesn't give them that rush. But what does is continually bullshitting you and convincing you that, oh, I'm learning it. And they'll even spit stuff out because they are learning it. But they're doing it to see how long they can pull the wool over your eyes because it gives them that constant rush, that supply. Now, here's the other thing you've got to understand. You're asking a human being who they're from the birth until they're 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years old, 45 years old. All they've done is hurt people. Their whole, all their tools, skills, skill set, social skills, and strategies have been to hurt people, to lie to people. How can I lie better? How can I trick them? How can I manipulate them more? And what's a better way to hurt them? And, it's like their whole system is wired with all these strategies. What you're asking them to do is give up everything they love in life. I'm serious. You're asking them to give up everything that they do to understand life. This is how they relate to people. It's fucked up, but it's the way they do it. And now you're asking them to go over here to something they don't value, they don't understand, and they don't care about, and say this is the right way to be. Do you see the problem with this? Let's say they wanted to do it. It would take them decades to develop this. And they still wouldn't have the motivation because over here it doesn't give them the high. So now, why am I saying this? I saw a video of a young man, I'm going to guess 30 years old, and he's making YouTube videos on, I'm a narc, I was diagnosed, blah, 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 and now I'm going to help you. And you could see the smirk on his face. This fucking guy, he's grinning from ear to ear, talking about the things he's done to people, the abuse, the suffering, the pain, and he's just grinning and he's got that narcissist fucking smirk. And then I saw him on another show. It was a doctor show. And he's acting like, no. They're treating this guy like he's a fucking celebrity. And I'm like, do you guys not understand what's going on here? He is coming out, and now he's putting it on the major risk. He's getting such a rush and such a high. If you guys think, if you're that naive, that you think this person or any of these people are going to change just because, oh, I got diagnosed, I'm a different person now. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. It would take decades, and they would have to have a real fucking reason. I can't imagine what reason would actually make a narcissist want to work 10 to 20 years to change who they really are. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Please don't be that gullible to think that these predators, and they are predators, don't think that they're going to change for you or for the betterment of society. That's just not going to happen. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but I have seen no reason. And it's not just me. Every doctor, every psychologist, every expert, and also narcissists themselves, and people who have dealt with narcissists, who have gone to therapists, and the narcissist, oh, I'll go to therapy. It's all bullshit. It's all a con job. And they all say the same thing. They don't want to change. Every single person, every video, every person I've talked to says the same thing. From expert professional doctors all the way down to people who've been abused by them. They don't change. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Make your choice and make it wise. See you.